wait a second, this is working.
Right.
I just busted right inside him.
It was a great result for you, and it looks like there was a lot of great fan support for you over there too. So how was it to start 26 with a result like that?
It's so great.
Philip Rivas! Oh, how nice! So cute. That's so cute. I love that.
A massive scandal has erupted, with Alex taking down Skip Bayless in a dramatic showdown that has now escalated into an $8 million lawsuit threatening to bankrupt Sky Sports. Welcome back to Court Eva Tennis, the ultimate destination for the rawest, most explosive, and completely unfiltered tennis coverage online. If you're new here, get ready because today's story goes far beyond serve speeds or backhand mechanics. We're diving headfirst into a controversy so shocking, so unprecedented, that even veteran sports journalists are left stunned and speechless. And if you think the headline tells you everything, think again, you haven't even scratched the surface. This isn't just another tennis headline, it's a cultural earthquake sending shockwaves from the WTA locker rooms straight into the panicked executive offices of one of the world's biggest sports networks. This story centers on one of the most powerful names in sports broadcasting, a network now facing serious legal and financial consequences. It begins with a young woman who looked one of the most controversial figures in sports media history straight in the eye and calmly delivered a chilling message. He had chosen the wrong person to target. Her words were sharp and deliberate, cutting through years of noise and controversy. She accused him of hiding behind a microphone and promised to expose him in court, and she followed through. The man at the center of the storm is Skip Bayless, a media personality who built his reputation on outrage-driven commentary. The lawsuit reportedly seeks $8 million in damages and carries the potential for severe legal and financial repercussions, including the possibility of criminal penalties and major losses for Sky Sports Studios. The situation has escalated into what many are calling a defining moment in modern sports media. To understand the magnitude of this confrontation, it's important to recognize the landscape that existed before it. For decades, Bayless cultivated an empire rooted not in measured analysis, but in provocation. His formula was simple: make the boldest, most inflammatory claim possible, ignite public backlash, and watch ratings soar. Over the years, he became known as sports media's most dependable antagonist, frequently targeting superstar athletes. Even legends like LeBron James endured years of relentless criticism that often felt deeply personal rather than purely analytical. NFL quarterbacks and other high-profile athletes braced themselves whenever their names appeared on his shows, knowing controversy would likely follow. Now, however, the narrative has shifted. What was once just televised debate has evolved into a high-stakes legal battle, one that could reshape the boundaries of accountability in sports media. After the Chicago Bulls dynasty ended, debates raged for years about what really happened and who was still in their prime. Figures like Scottie Pippen became part of endless television arguments, often reduced to talking points designed to spark controversy rather than thoughtful analysis. That formula helped commentators like Skip Bayless thrive for decades. The key to his longevity was a culture of silence. Athletes were conditioned by teams, agents, and PR advisors to stay composed, avoid confrontation, and let media personalities say whatever they wanted. There was an unspoken agreement. Players performed on the court, commentators talked about it on television, and the two worlds rarely collided in ways that could truly threaten a network. It was a comfortable system for broadcasters, but often a frustrating and unfair one for athletes, who endured exaggerations, character attacks, and condescending narratives while maintaining polite smiles at press conferences. But that era is shifting, and not everyone seems to have realized it. To understand why this particular clash matters, you also need to understand who Alex Eala is. Alex Eala is not just another player on the tour, she represents something much bigger. Born in the Philippines and trained from a young age at an elite level, she has steadily built a reputation as one of the most promising talents in tennis. Carrying the hopes of a nation and representing a region that rarely sees itself highlighted at the very top of the sport, she has fought her way through qualifiers, faced seasoned veterans, and proven repeatedly that her rise is the result of relentless dedication and hard-earned skill. Her success has been built on years of beautiful, relentless hard work, and as a result, Alex Eala is admired not only in the Philippines but across the global tennis community. Her fan base is massive, passionate, and fiercely protective. To many supporters, she represents something far greater than trophies or rankings. She embodies the belief that greatness has no borders, no nationality requirements, and no limits on ambition. Understanding that context makes what followed feel far more serious than routine sports criticism. When Skip Bayless allegedly shifted his focus toward Eala during a syndicated segment that aired on Sky Sports, it reportedly went far beyond analyzing her forehand or serve percentage. According to accounts surrounding the controversy, the remarks were described as deeply personal and unsubstantiated comments that critics argue crossed the line from opinion into potentially defamatory territory. Such statements, many believe, should never have made it to air without scrutiny. Once the segment circulated online, events moved quickly. The clip was reportedly removed from social media almost immediately, suggesting network executives recognized the seriousness of the situation. But in the digital age, deletion rarely means disappearance. Viewers had already captured screenshots, saved recordings, and shared the footage widely. Within hours, the material had allegedly reached Eala's legal team. What happened next marked a significant shift from the traditional playbook athletes have long followed. In the past, most would have released a carefully worded statement through management, expressing disappointment while avoiding escalation. This time, however, the response signaled that the era of silent endurance may be coming to an end, setting the stage for a confrontation that could reshape how sports media accountability is handled moving forward. Most athletes in similar situations would have expressed measured disappointment, issued a carefully worded statement through management, and quietly accepted a private apology to avoid escalating tensions. But Alex Eala reportedly chose a very different path. Instead of vague language about reviewing legal options, she responded with a decisive move, an $8 million lawsuit, formally filed and backed by a legal team prepared to pursue it. Aggressively, the announcement landed like a thunderbolt. This was no longer a routine public relations controversy, it became a full-scale legal confrontation. Reports suggested that, beyond the financial claim, there could also be serious legal consequences under strict defamation laws in jurisdictions where Sky Sports operates. That possibility alone shifted the narrative from media drama to a potentially existential crisis for everyone involved, including Skip Bayless and the network carrying the segment. The $8 million figure itself was not arbitrary. In high-stakes defamation cases involving globally recognized athletes with endorsement portfolios and international brand partnerships, damage assessments are typically calculated through a detailed and structured process. Legal teams may evaluate potential reputational harm, lost sponsorship opportunities, emotional distress, and long-term brand impact. On top of compensatory damages, punitive damages can also be considered penalties designed not only to compensate the plaintiff but to deter similar conduct in the future if pursued fully. Such a case would represent more than a personal defense of reputation. It could signal a broader shift in how high-profile athletes respond when they believe commentary crosses the line from opinion into legally actionable harm. Punitive damages exist for one clear reason: to punish the defendant and send a message. In high-profile cases involving globally recognized athletes like Alex Eala, they are meant to ensure that no network ever assumes it can target a beloved figure, spread damaging claims, and simply move on without consequences. When you factor in brand value, sponsorship portfolios, international visibility, and long-term reputational impact, an $8 million claim is not unrealistic. It is a figure that legal analysts would argue can be methodically justified. The situation becomes even more dramatic when considering the legal landscape beyond the United States. In America, defamation is primarily treated as a civil matter. However, Sky Sports operates out of the United Kingdom and across multiple European jurisdictions, where the rules can differ significantly. In certain countries, publishing false and harmful statements to a broad audience can, under specific circumstances, cross into criminal liability rather than remaining purely civil. The mere possibility of criminal proceedings, however complex and jurisdiction-dependent, would dramatically raise the stakes for a broadcaster and its on-air talent. For a long-time media personality such as Skip Bayless, who built a career on provocative and often polarizing commentary, Even the prospect of facing legal scrutiny beyond civil damages could send shockwaves through corporate leadership. Reports of internal turmoil suggest that once legal intentions became clear, executives began urgently assessing financial exposure, reputational fallout, and the broader implications of either fighting the case or seeking resolution. According to accounts circulating within media circles, Eala's legal team allegedly arrived fully prepared with documentation, archived material, and legal precedents supporting their position. Rather than approaching the situation as a routine negotiation, they reportedly signaled that they were ready for a serious legal battle. Whether the matter ultimately unfolds in court or through settlement, the episode highlights a changing dynamic in sports media, one in which prominent athletes appear increasingly willing to challenge commentary they believe crosses the line from opinion into legally actionable harm, according to industry whispers. The strategy presented by Alex Eala's legal team was so detailed and forceful that resistance quickly became untenable. The number people keep repeating is 3 minutes. Insiders claim that within 3 minutes of the formal notice landing on the desk of leadership at Sky Sports, and after reviewing the documented evidence and legal framework behind the claim, the network chose to capitulate. Not days of negotiation. Not weeks of legal back and forth. Just minutes. The decision reportedly came swiftly. No counteroffers, no drawn-out bargaining, just a directive to resolve the situation immediately. Central to that resolution was an order requiring Skip Bayless to issue a public apology. For a commentator known for standing firm in controversy and rarely conceding ground, the symbolism was striking. A personality whose brand had long been built on doubling down was now required to formally retract and apologize on air. Whether dramatized in retellings or not, the moment has been framed by observers as a turning point in the evolving relationship between athletes and sports media. For decades, the balance of power often appeared lopsided. Athletes performed, networks monetized those performances, and commentary, sometimes harsh, sometimes deeply personal, was shielded under the umbrella of entertainment and opinion. This episode, however it ultimately concludes, suggests that the boundaries of that implicit arrangement may be shifting. High-profile athletes with global platforms, legal resources, and loyal fan bases are demonstrating a growing willingness to challenge commentary they view as defamatory rather than analytical. If that trend continues, it could mark a broader recalibration of accountability standards within modern sports broadcasting. For decades, the line between entertainment and opinion has often protected harsh commentary in sports media. The louder and more outrageous the take, the more attention it generated, fueling ratings, contracts, and viral clips. Athletes, meanwhile, were expected to endure it all with poise. If they pushed back, they risked being labeled difficult or overly sensitive. What Alex Eala reportedly did in this case symbolized a break from that long-standing, unspoken arrangement, and she is not alone. This moment fits into a broader cultural shift already underway in professional tennis. Over the past several years, high-profile players have begun redefining how they engage with media and public narratives. When Naomi Osaka chose to step away from press conferences to protect her mental health, the move sparked global debate and permanently reshaped conversations around athlete well-being and media responsibility. Similarly, Novak Djokovic has consistently challenged media narratives he believes misrepresent him, using his own platforms to speak directly to supporters rather than relying solely on traditional outlets. And Nick Kyrgios has frequently taken to social media to call out commentary he views as inaccurate or disrespectful, transforming direct confrontation into part of his public identity. The pattern is clear. Today's generation of players is far less willing to accept a one-sided relationship with broadcasters and commentators. They possess global followings, sophisticated management teams, and legal resources designed specifically to protect their reputations. In that context, Eala's reported legal response may serve as a precedent signaling to athletes across sports that they have more leverage than ever before. The timing is particularly notable given the current state of the WTA Tour. Women's tennis is experiencing a dynamic generational transition, marked by depth, unpredictability, and intense competition. Emerging stars are entering the tour with exceptional physical preparation, tactical awareness, and mental resilience. At nearly every major tournament, The draw is stacked with contenders capable of producing headline-making performances that in such an environment. Athletes are not just competing for titles, they are also redefining the power balance between players and the media ecosystem that surrounds them. The depth of competition on today's tour is staggering. On any given day, a qualifier can upset a top 10 seed, and the era of a small circle of dominant champions routinely sweeping titles has clearly shifted. The women's game, especially on the WTA Tour, has become more open, more global, and more competitive than ever. In that landscape, Alex Eala is more than just another rising name. She symbolizes opportunity for players outside traditional tennis power centers, proof that talent paired with relentless determination can break through long-standing barriers. For years, broadcasters operated with relative confidence that athletes would not pursue full legal retaliation. Lawsuits are expensive, time-consuming, and emotionally draining. Even well-resourced players often decided the toll was not worth it. But the environment has evolved. Sports law has become more specialized, representation more sophisticated, and public perception more favorable toward athletes who defend themselves. In today's digital landscape, a player who successfully challenges damaging commentary is not typically viewed as difficult. They are often seen as standing up to an unfair system. Financially, the reported $8 million figure carries different weight depending on perspective. For an individual commentator such as Skip Bayless, that scale of damages would represent a serious personal blow. For a major broadcaster like Sky Sports, the raw number might be manageable in isolation. What becomes far more significant is the precedent. A public loss or damaging legal battle could invite scrutiny from others who feel wronged, potentially exposing a broader vulnerability in a model that thrives on provocative commentary. From a strategic standpoint, swift damage control, even if publicly embarrassing, can make sense. Absorbing reputational bruises now may be preferable to prolonged litigation that risks deeper financial and structural consequences later. For the network, recalibrating internal safeguards could protect long-term stability. As for Bayless, the implications are complex. Once a public apology is issued, especially for someone whose brand was built on never backing down, it inevitably reshapes perception. Whether or not the legal dispute is formally settled, the broader sports media world now understands that the boundaries between bold opinion and actionable defamation are being tested more aggressively than before. The larger question moving forward is philosophical as much as legal. Can commentators maintain a persona built on extreme, unfiltered takes when the risk landscape has changed? And can networks continue to operate comfortably in gray areas when athletes are increasingly prepared with platforms, legal teams, and public support to push back? Whatever the final outcome, the episode reflects a broader recalibration in modern sports media, one where power is no longer as one-sided as it once seemed. The most lasting impact of this saga may not be the lawsuit, the fines, or any temporary suspension, but the psychological shift it represents. For Skip Bayless, the brand mythology that has sustained his career for decades now has a visible crack, one that could erode over time. That fracture, subtle as it may seem, is potentially more damaging than any financial penalty because it undermines the aura of invincibility he has relied on for years. Looking ahead, the reverberations will be felt across the professional tennis world and beyond. In green rooms, production meetings, and editorial offices at major networks, conversations will inevitably change. Legal teams will play a more prominent role in overseeing commentary, and the era where outrage was rewarded and accountability optional is slowly coming to an end. For players, Eala's decisive stand is empowering. Her victory demonstrates that athletes now have the ability and the precedent to defend their reputations, command respect, and reshape the rules of engagement with the media. On the court, the women's tour continues to deliver thrilling, unpredictable battles, with young players rewriting records, veterans fighting for every title, and entire nations rallying behind their representatives. Off the court, the struggle is increasingly about dignity, respect, and the right to control one's own narrative in a world that has too often treated athletes as content rather than human beings. Alex Eala did more than protect herself, she changed the playing field for everyone who follows. The next generation of champions is watching, learning, and filing away the lesson. The old rules no longer apply, and athletes now have both the power and the willingness to defend themselves decisively. We will continue to track every development in this explosive story, from updates at Sky Sports, to Bayless's moves, to the latest matches and headlines from professional tennis. This is Court Eva Tennis, where nothing goes unreported, and the stories the mainstream media fears to cover get the spotlight they deserve. If this story fired you up, now is the time to engage. Hit that like button, drop your hot takes in the comments, and subscribe to stay on top of every update. Tennis is evolving, and you won't want to miss a single moment of it.